Hello class, my name is Aliyah and this week my video presentation is on Conchitas, but before I start with the video, I wanted to let you guys know first of all why it is meaningful to me. So short and simple, this meal is meaningful to me because when I was younger, we would spend a lot of our time at my grandma's house, and this was like the go-to food, you know, when we were little. You're hungry, what do you want? Conchitas. And it's been that way since, you know, even as we've grown older and we can't go to grandma's as much. It's like every time we go over to grandma's, she's already in the kitchen making conchitas when we get there. And it's also special because nobody else can make it like her. And after doing my you know, research and stuff, getting the recipe from her, now I know why nobody can make it like her. So this was very exciting for me, and I'll share the recipe with you guys right now and the ingredients as well. So the list of ingredients that you're going to need are 1 can of tomato sauce. You're going to need some garlic salt, 2 bags of Conchita shells, but that varies depending on how much you want to make. 2 bags is usually good for like I would say 5 to 6 people, but with us that love them, it's good for like 4 or 3. I included a picture of this, but you're also gonna need Knorr chicken flavor. It's like a, you know, seasoning. You're gonna need some cumin and pepper, a clove of garlic, and 4 cups of water, but that also varies depending on how much of the soup you want. Now in the beginning of the video, my grandma was excited, so she kind of just like, you know, got into it and started cooking. So that's why I'm sharing with you the ingredients right now, because I tried to take a picture, but she just went in and started. So here's my video. Thank you. So the first thing you're going to want to do in this recipe, as you see my grandma doing, you are going to combine a pinch of cumin and pepper with 1 clove of garlic in a molcajete. Forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. As you see my grandma mixing it, towards the end you will see that it goes from a dry consistency, you can see there, to a kind of moist or like wet consistency, and that's when you're done mashing it. You just want to make sure that you get it well mixed together. So once you get it to this consistency, you're gonna want to add a little bit of water. My grandma didn't really give me precise measurements, but here you see her getting the 4 cups of water together in a bowl, and that's all the water that she's gonna use for the recipe. You'll see throughout the video that she goes in and she, like, you know, grabs a little bit, and that's how you mix it. So next my grandma is starting to add the oil into the pan. She says to add a little bit, but she adds quite a lot. But you'll see later that she goes in and takes it out. So with your heat on high, you're gonna start adding the conchitas little by little. She uses 2 bags, but this recipe serves like 4 to 6 people, so you know it varies. You can fix the recipe and make it to how many people you want to serve. Once the heat gets high enough and you know you added your conchitas, you're gonna want to start mixing it. And my grandma mentioned that she uses a fork, and not a lot of people use forks. She said only I use forks, but because it helps to get a more even frying of the conchitas, you know, because you're able to move them more precisely, I guess, so that, you know, they get oil over every single one and they all get fried evenly. So here, this is the kind of color that you want them to get. My grandma said that this is the most important step of the process. You want them to fry until they become a golden brown, not burned, but almost a golden brown. Now, as you just saw, she's starting to add the spices, starting with the combination of garlic, cumin, and pepper. And just keep moving them around because you don't want them to burn. Now you're gonna slowly pour in your water. Here she poured in 2 to 3 cups, but it depends on how much soup you want. And, you know, depending on that, you can add more or less. And then you're gonna want to let that come to a boil. So now we're gonna go ahead and add about 1 to 2 spoons of garlic salt. My grandma's just using her hand, but, you know, she kind of just estimated that that's about like 2 spoons. And next, she is looking for her spoon. And she's gonna stick it in there and she's gonna realize it doesn't fit. So then she just explains that she adds half of a cooking spoon or more, if that's what you prefer, of the chicken flavor. In this step, my grandma mentions that her secret is adding in a prayer. And so I guess that's why she's the only one that can make it that way, because that's her secret. But so yes, after this step, as you saw right there, my grandma kind of tastes the juice to, you know, make sure it's not too salty, or to see if it needs more flavoring. And I guess it's too salty because she adds another cup of water. So it's really a matter of preference. So now finally we are adding our can of tomato sauce, and you're going to mix it in and continue to let it boil on high heat. So in this step, you can see that it has boiled enough that the oil is starting to become more visible on the top of the soup. And in this step, you can remove the oil like my grandma is doing with the spoon. But of course, if you didn't put as much oil as she did, you probably won't need to do this step. Once it comes to a full boil like it has now in the video, this is after about like 5 minutes, you're going to want to lower your heat to medium and continue to move the conchitas every now and then. My grandma mentioned that you can cover it if you want to, but she doesn't really find it necessary. At this step, she adds a little more of the chicken flavor because, again, she tried the juice, and yeah, just a matter of preference, again, like I said. So she decides to add more. So right here, as you can see, there are little bumps on the conchitas, and this is how they should start looking halfway through the process. This means that, you know, they're frying and they're cooking. And so right now you'll see my grandma trying a conchita once again, And as you keep cooking, you'll notice that those little bumps are starting to go away and they will continue to grow. So you're going to want to continue to cover and check on them, and then after about 10 minutes you can turn your stove off. This is what my grandma does, and she covers the conchitas and lets them simmer with the remaining heat they have within themselves. So again, I keep mentioning you can try them and see if they are to your liking, but you can also tell that they are done once there are no more bumps on the conchitas. So I'm including a picture here of the chicken flavor that my grandma includes because, disclaimer, I am not sure if this is vegan friendly. And yeah, my grandma also mentioned that you can top it off with cilantro or lemon, chile, or anything that you like. But this is how I prefer them, so that's how I'm presenting them. And that is all for the recipe, and thank you for watching.